Good morning, students. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay, good morning, all. Okay, so in the last class, we have discussed about the block diagram representation of a open loop system and closed loop system, and also to calculate the transfer function of open loop and closed loop. Okay, so we have gone through these equations of open loop system transfer function, and that is and the forward path transfer function, then the feedback path transfer function, okay, and the open loop transfer function. Then we have also discussed about the closed loop transfer function, okay, when the feedback was subtracted from the input, and when the feedback was added with the input, then the transfer function, the how to calculate the transfer function or what will be the transfer function, that also we have discussed. Okay, now we have just started about the poles and zeros, but we did not complete it, the discussion. So I am continuing my discussion with poles and zero mapping. So as we have already discussed that the numerator and the denominator of any transfer function has s polynomials. Okay, that means it is a polynomial equation where there will be s to the power m, okay, or n. That means some exponent of s. So if cs by rs, the total closed loop transfer function, is equals to like this: a0, that is a constant, plus a1 s to the power 1. So a0 means s to the power 0. So it will be like suppose s to the power 6 in the numerator and s to the power 9 as the denominator, something like that. Okay, so that means if s to the power 6 is there in the numerator, so there will be 6 solutions of x. Okay, and if s to the power 9 is there in the denominator, so there will be 9 solution of x. Okay, now if this is the case, then the solutions of the s of the numerator are called zeros, and solution of the s in the denominator are called the poles. Okay, so in the transfer function, as in this equation 3.23, you can see the values of s. That means if s to the power m is there, so we can write k as a constant multiplied by s minus z1 into s minus z2. So z1, z2 up to zm are the solution of s in the numerator, divided by s minus p1, s minus p2 multiplied by s minus pn. So these are the solutions of s in the denominator, which are the poles. Okay, so this has been mentioned over here. So the solutions of the numerator are called the zeros. That means z1 to zm are the zeros of the transfer function. On the other hand, the s is put equal to any of p1, p2. That means how to because the calculation will be like this: that s to s minus 1 z1, s minus z2, suppose, and the denominator we have s minus p1, s minus p2, and s minus p3, suppose. Then how to calculate? Because basically the method is s minus z1 equals to 0, so you will get s z1. S minus z2 equals to 0, so you will get s as z2. Like this you have to calculate. Similarly for denominator also, s minus p1 equals to 0, so you have to equate it with 0 and you will get the value of the s. Okay, s minus p2 equals to, so s will be p2. Similarly s minus p3 equals to 0, so s will be p3. Okay, so this is the method of calculating. So now if you have this particular equation, example, suppose this example says that find and plot the poles and zeros of the following transfer function determine its type and order. So type and order, okay, this thing also you have to know. Okay, so type and order. Once again, okay, so type and order. Okay, yes. So first of all, you will see, you get this equation. Suppose GS, okay, one second. So GS is equals to 2x square plus 18s plus 36. Okay. Now denominator is s multiplied by s square plus 2s plus 1, then into s plus 4 into s minus 2. Okay. So if you have to find the poles and zeros. That means the solution of s in the numerator and solution of s in the denominator. So what you have to do, you have to solve it. You have to reduce the equation, or you have to simplify it in this form: s plus something or s minus something. Okay. So after sorting it out, we have obtained the solution that it is s2 into s plus 3, okay, into s plus 6. Okay, so once again, okay, so in the denominator s is already there, s plus 4 and s minus 2 are already there, so you have to solve this one. So it's quite easy. It is s plus 1 whole square, so s plus 1 into s plus 1. Okay, so that means how many values of s is there? 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 and 2 is the values of s. Okay, oh, someone is entering. Wait. Okay, so the values of s in the, how many values of s are there in the numerator? It is 2. And how many values of s in denominator? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because s means s minus 0. S means it is s minus 0. So 0 is a solution also of s. Okay, 0 is solution of s. That is why it is written like this. The zeros are thus at s, that is at minus 3 and minus 6, because s plus 3. So we will write s plus 3 equals to 0. So s equals to minus 3. So minus 3 and minus 6 are the solutions of s in the numerator, and solutions of s in the denominator are the values of 0, minus 1, minus 1. So 2 minus 1 are there because it is s plus 1 whole square. So minus 1, minus 1, then minus 4 and plus 2. Okay, so now you can see the exponent of the denominator is quite more compared to numerator. So this is generally a case for a stable system, that the denominator will have higher power, because in a closed loop system, or in any system, in a closed loop system obviously it will be greater, because in a closed loop system the transfer function is gs by 1 plus gs hs. So gs hs means you are multiplying gs and hs, so it will be more. Okay, it will be, the exponent will be greater, even though suppose you have gs only. So gs itself will also have a transfer function where the denominator will be having a higher power. That is why it is also not in every case it can be equal also. In many rare cases it is generally less than the number of poles are less than the number of zeros, but generally for a stable system the number of poles are greater than the number of zeros. Now the total power of the equation, total exponent of the equation, what is that? 5, because the denominator has 5 solutions of x, so it is s to the power 5. So 5 is the order of the system. It is not written over here. So order of the system will be 5. This is a very common question, it comes in the MCQs. So if it asks that what is the order of the system, it will be 5, because the maximum exponent of this equation is 5 in the denominator. So it is ordered as 5. And type, what is type? Type means the number of poles at the origin. That means if over here how many poles are there at the origin? Only 1. That means the solution of S of the denominator, if it is 0, that means that is a type is 1. So that means the number of solutions of S in the denominator, the number of solutions of S in denominator, if it is 0, then those numbers, that is called the type of the transfer function. Okay, so as many number of solutions of S are at the of S are 0 in the denominator, that is the type of the transfer function. So type is 1. If it was, suppose if I ask you that if our equation is like this, so let us check out the next one. Okay, before going to the next one, see, you have to plot. Generally in the exam it comes that plot the zeros and poles on a graph. So how to plot it? You can also use MATLAB code for that. So MATLAB will automatically plot it for you. But if physically you have to plot, the plot generally looks like this. You see, this is a graph, generally a two-dimensional graph, XY plane. So since I have told you that transfer function is always in the S domain, it is not in the time domain, it is in the S domain, because it is a Laplace transform. Okay, so S domain means it is having one real axis and one imaginary axis, sigma and j omega. Okay, so sigma, because in this case you can see your values are coming, the values of poles and zeros, solutions are coming as integers or whole number, like that, -3, -6. These are not fractions. That is, it is not -3.7, -6.7. It may also come, and the values may also come in complex equations. Suppose the solution of S is such that you have to solve it using Sridhar-Acharya formula. Then the solution will be like this. Suppose ±3 plus J7. Okay, so it may also come. So S equals to ±3 plus J7. Okay, so basically we are not going to that complex one in the first example. I am just showing you this simple case. So obviously it is, the values are coming as whole numbers, so you have to put it like this. So the values are all real numbers, or real, or you can say integers. Okay, -3, -6, like that. So it is not having any complex part, isn't it? -3 means what? -3 means -3 plus J0. Okay, then we have -6. -6 means -6 plus J0. These are the zeros. Okay, and the poles, it is 0, -1, -1, -4, 2. So poles are 0 plus J0, so it is origin. Okay, -1 plus J0, -1 plus J0. Okay, then we have -4 plus J0, -4 plus J0, and 2 plus J0. Okay, so since J is 0 over here, so this imaginary axis represents the J. If suppose it was like this, 0 plus J5, then you will choose 5 from here. That means this is the real axis. This axis is the real axis, and this is the imaginary axis. This is the imaginary axis. This is the real axis. This is the imaginary axis. Oh, sorry. One second, because this is -2. Wait, I overlooked it. Okay, so this is 0. This is sigma. This is j omega. This is j omega. Okay. So the horizontal axis is the real axis, and the perpendicular axis is the imaginary axis, j omega. So this is plus sigma, this is minus sigma, this one is j omega, this is minus j omega, imaginary one. So S is equals to sigma plus j omega. This is the S domain plane. Okay. So now if the solution is -3 plus j0, so -3 means this is 0, so -1, -2, -3. -3 j is 0, so that means it will not be reaching upwards in the imaginary axis, it will lie on the real axis. Okay, so it is a real number. Okay, so it is a negative real number, so basically, so minus 3, so you have to plot here minus 3, so minus 3 is a 0, it is a numerator, not a pole, so you will circle it like this. This is the convention of plotting a 0 on a graph paper. Okay, next is minus 6, so minus 6 means this one, so you will put a 0 like this, circle it, circle the point minus 6. Okay, now there is a pole on the origin, 0 plus j0, so this is the origin, so you will plot a pole like this, you just put cross, poles are represented by this cross. Okay, so zeros are represented by circling and poles are represented by cross. Okay, again pole is at minus 1, again you will cross at minus 1, and again there is a pole cross minus 1, so you will double cross it. Always remember, suppose in this is a MATLAB, so it is not shown in that way. Suppose if you are plotting in a copy, okay, one second. Okay, suppose you are plotting in a copy. Okay, then there are, suppose this is some point minus 2. Okay, and if there is a pole over here, so you will put like this, and suppose it is minus 2 times minus 2, so you will double cross it. If you don't double cross it, then it will count it as a single one. See, the exam will not get full marks. As many number of poles are there on a single point, you have to cross it that many times. जितने बार भी एक पॉइंट में पोल आ रहा है, तो उतने बार उसको क्रॉस करना पड़ेगा. Same for 0 also. If 0 is at this particular point, so you have to circle it once. If there is another 0 at the same point, you will circle it twice or thrice. जितने बार उतने बार करना पड़ेगा. Okay, this is the rule when you are doing in hand. Okay. Now in 4 also there is one, and in plus 2 there is one, so in plus 2. So from this graph easily one can understand that there are 1, 2, 3, because if you double cross it, then only it will be visible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 poles and 2 zeros. Okay, so 5 poles means from the graph also one can understand that 5 poles, that means denominator has 5 as the maximum exponent, so the order is 5, and only one pole is at the origin, so type is 1. Now one pole at the origin, so type is 1. Okay, have you understood this part? If you have any question, you can ask. Any doubt? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will proceed to the next example. So similar example is there. So here also we have to plot the poles and zeros and determine its type and order. So similarly, you can see in the denominator the value is s to the power, so it is s square plus 9. Okay, s square plus 9. Denominator it is s square plus multiplied by s minus 3 into s plus 4 into s square plus 4s plus 13. So if you solve the numerator part, you will see that you will not get a integer, you will get a complex number like this. Okay, so it is, because if you solve it using Sridhar Acharya, the solutions will be plus minus 3j. So it is s plus 3j into s minus 3j. Okay, so solution is plus 3j and minus 3j. Two solutions, because imaginary always have two solutions. Always remember, because Sridhar Acharya means minus b plus minus, then we have root over of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So plus minus root over means you will get always two variables, complex conjugates. Okay, and denominator you have s to the power 2. So 2 poles are the origin, because s to the power 2 means s minus 0 into s minus 0. So 2 zeros are there in the poles, and that means at the denominator. That means the don't get confused with this 0 and the actual 0. It may sound confusing at the beginning, okay, but once you practice it, it becomes very easy. These zeros means the solutions of numerator. This is not the actual 0. This is not shunya. This is 0. And this value is the actual numerical 0. So that means there are two poles at the origin. So we will generally call it origin to avoid the confusion. So two poles at the origin. So numerical 0 values. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 total poles are there. So what is the order? What will the order?
6.
6. And type?
1.
No.
2, sir.
2.
2.
Because the number of poles at the origin is 2. So the type will be 2. In the previous case, the number of poles at the origin was 1. Only one pole was at the origin. So type was 1. Here, the number of poles at the origin are 2. So the type will be 2. If it is S2 over 3, it will be 3. S2 over 4, it is 4. So S3 over n, whatever it is, it will be n. Okay. So now you have to plot this. So you can see here the imaginary axis is being taken. Why? Because the first solution is, if you go for the zeros, numerator part, plus 3j minus 3j. So these two values are directly on the imaginary axis, because there is no real part. It is not a plus jb, it is only jb. Okay, so that is plus 3j minus 3j. Okay, so this is the imaginary part, the axis, because see this is 0, this is the origin. Once again I will say origin. So this is the axis. Okay, this axis, perpendicular axis, this is the real axis. Okay, so you will plot like this. So this is 3 and this is minus 3. So circle this point on the imaginary axis. So that means this is 3j, this is minus 3j. You don't have to write it 3j minus 3j. I'm just, for your understanding, I'm doing this. Okay, so 2 zeros are there. It is being plotted. Now coming to the poles, 2 poles at the origin, so you will cross it twice. Okay, so it shows that type is 2. Okay, and 2 more poles are on the real axis, 3 and minus 4. So this is 3 real part and minus 4 negative real part, because this is sigma. Always write like this, sigma and j omega. Okay, plus 3 and minus 3. Oh, sorry, plus 3 and minus 4. 2 values are there, plus 3 and minus 4. Then we have the complex number 2, because if you solve this one, it will become 2 plus minus 3j. So that means 2 plus 3j, 2 minus 3j. So this is 2. Okay, and this is minus 3. So this one is 2 minus 3j. And this is also 2 and this is plus 3. So this is, cross it like this. So it is 2 plus 3j. Got it? So in this way you have to plot the poles and zeros. Okay. So now proceeding further. So now coming to the, now since you have understood what are the poles and what are zeros type and order of a system, and we have also studied regarding the transfer function. So how to calculate a transfer function, how to determine the forward path transfer function, how to calculate the or determine the closed loop transfer function, you have understood. So basically the concept of determining the closed loop transfer function generally is in this way. If the transfer function is in this form, then it is called a ideal closed loop transfer function. Ideal closed loop. Now in practical cases, this simple closed loop you will not find. you will find a complex one. Okay, for that you have to reduce the blocks. That is why it is called block reduction technique or block diagram reduction technique. That means block diagrams of complex control system with complicated configurations can be simplified using the rules of block diagram reduction techniques. That means if you have a particular block like this, suppose, or system like this, block system like this, suppose there is a block like this, okay, another block, another block, another block, another block, and you may have a signal like this, one signal, okay, one signal like this, these are the feedbacks, okay. Okay, so wait 1 second. Okay. So if a block system is like this, in this way, summation point is there, minus, this is plus, disconnected like this, this is RS, this is CS, this is suppose G1S, this is G2S, this is G3S, there are two feedbacks, H1S, H2S, okay. So you may say that very easy to find out, it will be GS by 1 plus GS HS. So GS will be the total one, G1, G2, GT, G3 is GS, and HS is H1, H2. So it will be quite easy as per the formula, that is GS by 1 plus GS HS. This is the actual formula for closed loop transfer function. So since the numerator has three blocks, so GS will be G1S into G2S, because they can be directly multiplied. If they are in series, you can directly multiply them. This is GS plus again GS HS. So G1, I'm just for simplicity I'm not writing the S1, it becomes quite complex, because in block reduction technique also we will not use S always, क्योंकि बहुत clumsy हो जाता है इसलिए. तो इसको हम लिखेंगे G1, G2, G3, H1, H2. Quite easy, because HS is H1, H2, GS is G1, G2, G3. सीरीज में है ना, ये दो सीरीज में, तीन सीरीज में, ये दो सीरीज में. But always it is not that simple, क्योंकि ये भी थोड़ा सा इजी है, बहुत इजी है ये वाला. Generally it becomes very complex, because if I show you one slight change, then you will ask me then how to solve this. Suppose if I introduce a summation point over here, then tell me how will you solve it. Is it that easy? No, you cannot solve it like that. So how to proceed? If it is told in the question that you have to find out the closed loop transfer function, that is CS by RS, entire thing, then how can you do? Because it is not in this form. It is not in our comfort zone. It is not by GS by 1 plus GSHS you will do. No, because there is one summation point in between. Because this formula equation can only be implemented if the blocks are like this. If the structure is in this way, summation point like this. This is G, this is H, this is R, this is C. So this is the ideal. So what we will do, we will transform this into this structure. You have to transform it, then we can solve it. Otherwise we cannot solve it. That is why we have to know the block reduction technique. So we have to reduce the blocks. Just like in an equation, if you solve like poles and zeros you have seen, if you want to solve the value of S, you have to middle term break it, or you have to sort the equation in such a way that it can be calculated. You can easily calculate it. Similarly, in block reduction technique also, you have to do this particular reduction technique. Okay, so that is why it is called the block reduction technique. So that is why it is told that block diagrams of a complex control systems with complicated configurations can be simplified. You have to simplify it using the block rules of the block reduction technique. So using the techniques, complicated block diagrams can be simplified into simple open loop forms. It can be, if you simplify it using the block reduction technique, it can be simplified, broken down into a single open loop structure or a closed loop structure system. So there are some important rules. What are those? First one you already know, that combining the blocks in cascade. That means if you see this figure, if they are in series, then we can just multiply them. This is I have already told you in this previous example. Okay, so this is the rule number 1. So I have already shown you that one technique of block reduction. In this case, one technique of block reduction I have already told you, that if the summation point was not there, then you will multiply G1, G2, G3 and H1, H2. So this is rule number 1. Okay. Now rule number 2 is eliminating feedback path. This is also known to you. Eliminating feedback path. That means in a system, in a complex system, if you see that this structure is there, because our target will be to get the entire structure in this particular form or a simple block. So if you have a system where there are say 10-20 blocks are there and 7 summation points are there, so we will know that in summation point there will be some feedback. There may be feedback or may not be feedback. Only summation points are also used for combining the signals also. But if there are feedback path, so we will try to check out, our procedure will be, our goal will be first to see where we can find this small structure in a complex structure. मतलब कि पूरा एक सिस्टम है जहाँ पर बहुत सारा ब्लॉक है, इंटरकनेक्टेड है, लेकिन उसमें भी थोड़ा थोड़ा करके हम लोग को ये चीज़ देखने को मिलेगा. तो हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे ये चीज़ ढूंढने के लिए, ये सिंपल क्लोज लूप सिस्टम कहाँ पर है. जब ये मिल जाएगा इसको हम सॉल्व करेंगे. That I will show you in the examples. So first of all, the second rule is that whenever you will have this simple closed loop system in your entire block diagram, then you will try to solve this using the same technique, GS by 1 plus GSHS. If the summation is subtracted, if that is feedback is subtracted in the summation point, and if the feedback is added in the summation point, then it will be GS by 1 minus GSHS. Next is eliminating feed forward path. So you can see this summation point is not utilized for the feedback. This is for adding the signals of different transfer functions or systems. This is one transfer function and you are adding them. Okay, you are adding these 2 and you are subtracting G3. So summation point are also used for this. It is like a, you can say, node in a current, in a circuit, electrical circuit. The purpose of a node is there. So here also it is like a node. Okay, so in that case what you will do, you will just see the what is the orientation of the sign, what means how the signals are added or subtracted. So G1 and G2 will be added, G3 will be subtracted. So RS is the input, CS is the output. So the simple single block will be GS plus G1S plus G2S minus G3S. Okay. Next one is a little bit tricky because this technique will be used in, you have to use this one because this is a master stroke. This shifting a takeoff point, it is a master stroke because suppose you have a feedback, suppose you have a system, you have to reduce it and you are seeing that you are not getting this form because our target will be to get this form. Suppose this CS is over here, then you can shift this point from here to here. If you are able to do this, then it becomes very easy. That is why you have to do this. This trick is there. This is the trick. Trick is, suppose there is a point like this, okay, and the one signal is going from, is taken from this point, but you want this point to be over here. समझ लो कि ऐसा लग रहा है कि अगर काश ये पॉइंट यहाँ पर होता तो हम इजीली इसको सॉल्व कर सकते थे, तो कर सकते हो, इसको यहाँ पर उठा के यहाँ पर बैठा सकते हो. How to do that? Very easy. You have to make some change. Change is, the rule is that the signal should not be disturbed while doing this. That means what is the signal entering? GS, RS. RS is entering. Okay. And what is the signal coming out from this point? RS, obviously. So if you shift this point to this point B, then also RS value should be coming out. If RS value is not coming out, then it is not correct. That is why if you are shifting this point A to point B, then also RS value will come. How? Because if it is CS, then how can be RS? That is why we will put another block. How to do this? Very easy. See, we know that this is the input, this is the output for this particular block. Transfer function is GS. So we know GS is equals to Laplace transform of output by Laplace transform of input for any block. Okay. So what is B? Point. What is the signal of at point B? Point B में कौन सा signal है? CS है. What is CS? CS is RS GS. That means if I take this point A to point B, then this signal will be CS, which is nothing but RS GS. बट हमको यहाँ पर RS चाहिए, सिर्फ RS. तो क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पर एक ब्लॉक बैठा देंगे 1/GS. तो क्या आ रहा है, यहाँ पर RS इंटू GS आ रहा है, GS कैंसिल हो जा रहा है, फिर सिर्फ RS में जा रहा है. That means you want to shift the block from A to B. Before, when it was at A, the signal was RS. When you are shifting at B, then also the signal will be RS, because you have to check if it is at B, then what is the signal at B first? B में क्या सिग्नल है? B में है RS GS है, तो क्या करेंगे लोग, GS को डिवाइड कर लेंगे, हो जाएगा. Understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly here also, एक पॉइंट है जो B में है, उसको हम आगे लेना चाहते हैं, उसको आगे लेना है. पहले वाले में क्या था, पीछे लेना है, इसको आगे लेना है. If you want to bring it before, so you can see the signal at B is CS, but if you want to shift it at point A. So what is the signal at point A? RS. So but it cannot be RS, it has to be CS. इसको CS ही होना चाहिए, ये RS है. तो RS के साथ क्या करना चाहिए कि CS हो जाएगा. वेरी इजी, क्योंकि CS जो है वो है RS GS. Okay, so RS is CS by GS. So this is RS, this one is CS. So CS means it is RS GS. Fine, RS GS. If you are shifting it to A, it has to be also RS GS. it has to be RSGS. That is why if you see, if you are taking this point over here, so यहाँ पर कौन सा सिग्नल है, यहाँ पर RS है, तो RS के साथ अगर हम GS को मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं तो ये CS बन जाएगा, है ना। RS के साथ GS को मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, इसलिए GS का ब्लॉक हमने डाल दिया था। तो यहाँ पर क्या जा रहा था, RS जा रहा था, ठीक है। इसमें मत जाओ, ये देखने की जरूरत नहीं है। ये देखो, ये RS है, ये GS का ब्लॉक डाल दिया, तब क्या हो गया, RSGS जा रहा है, RSGS। अब RSGS ही तो CS है इस हिसाब से, है ना, क्योंकि ये RS है, ये GS है, CS है, तो GS because RS equals to CS equals to RSGS because it is getting multiplied. Okay, got it. I'm explaining to you one second. Suppose मान लो कि एग्जांपल देता हूँ मैं, और भी क्लियर हो जाएगा before going to the problem. Suppose you have two blocks like this. G1, G2. I'm not writing S. Okay, S को हम eliminate कर रहे हैं for understanding or for time because it consumes a lot of time. अच्छा, ये R है, ये C है, तो एक पॉइंट है यहाँ पर, point A, but I want to shift this to point B. I want to shift it. I want that signal should come like this. Okay. Suppose this point is carrying a signal which is called say BS, B. So ये क्या जा रहा है, B जा रहा है, तो हमको इसको यहाँ पर B नहीं लिखेंगे, कॉन्फ्यूजन होगा, पॉइंट B है, RSCS, ओके, RS, सपोज इट इज W, ये क्या जा रहा है, W जा रहा है, ठीक है। सो W इज क्वाइट कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, सपोज P सिग्नल, ओके, सो P जा रहा है ना, तो P को अब कैसे, तो अगर पॉइंट A को पॉइंट B में शिफ्ट करेंगे तो यहाँ पर कौन सा ब्लॉक चाहिए हमको, यहाँ पर जो एक ब्लॉक रखना पड़ेगा ना, फिर से यहाँ पर एक ब्लॉक को रखना पड़ेगा। What will be this inside this block? Who can tell?
1 by GT.
1 by GS.
G2.
G2. 1 by G2. 1 by
Yes.
G2. Yes, because at point A, the signal is P, and B is nothing but it is G2 into P. Okay, G2 into P, and over here I want P, I don't want B, I want P over here, क्योंकि मुझे P चाहिए। तो क्या करेंगे हम लोग, इस यहाँ पर 1 by G2 डाल देंगे, तो यहाँ पर B जा रहा है, तो B मतलब G2 into P, और वो 1 by G2 से कैंसिल हो गया, तो सिर्फ P जा रहा है। ओके, सो देन यू हैव अंडरस्टूड, ओके फाइन। Now interchanging position, this can be also done, okay. So since take-up points do not alter the strength of the signal, the position of the two sides take-up point can be mutually interchanged without any modification. So ये इसको हम कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये तो बहुत सिंपल है, क्योंकि देखो एक सिग्नल जा रहा है यहाँ पे, so there is one signal which is going, so signal is unchanged because RS, GS, CS. So whatever point you take, you will always get CS. If you interchange it, it won't hamper it. Okay. So that means over here you can change the orientation. It can be done without any modification. Okay, because signal is CS. I can take it from here also. I can take it from here, whatever. So it is not that problematic. Okay. Summation point can also be shifted. Generally we don't do this often because it becomes quite complicated, but in situations may arise that there is no option, then you have to shift the summation point also. So summation point can also be shifted. Okay. So for this, you see, this is the last thing I will be discussing today. So you can see there is a summation point. Incoming signal is x, and this feedback or this summation it is getting you are getting y. So x plus minus y. Then we have gs, and this is z. Output signal is z. So what you are getting in z will be gs into this signal. क्योंकि जब भी हमको सिग्नल आउटपुट मिल रहा है ना, तो उसको कैसे निकालने के क्या है, उस ब्लॉक के साथ इनपुट को मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली आउटपुट बाय इनपुट विल गिव यू ब्लॉक, ट्रांसफर फंक्शन ऑफ द ब्लॉक. सो आउटपुट इज ट्रांसफर फंक्शन ऑफ द ब्लॉक इनटू द सिग्नल इनपुट. सो z is gs into x plus y. Okay, if you want to shift this point summation point over here, then also the signal will not be changed. Input and output cannot change signal. Input and output you cannot hamper it. With hampering you have to change it. So how to do this? See, if you put this summation point over here, so gs is over here. So if gs is put over here, that means if you shifting the summation point, so x is entering directly gs. What is coming out? gsx. Okay. So you have to add another block so that gsx plus minus gsy, then only will get gs into x plus minus y. So we'll add another block gs before y, because over here it should be gs into x plus y. Input is x, output is gs into x plus y, and one block is there. So here also one block is there, but additional block is being introduced so that this remains unchanged. So this is also similar to the block reduction techniques. Okay. So now there are many more techniques are there. Okay. Then ultimately we will I will show you how to implement the block reduction technique. Okay. So since time is not there, so I am closing my lecture for today. If you have any doubt, then you can ask. Any doubt? Okay, so I am taking the screenshot of the attendance sheet. Okay. Okay, so if you don't have any doubt, then you can leave for today. Then thank you.